welcome inside the USF Softball Complex for another presentation of WCBN Sports' coverage of Michigan softball. Today we have a big-time top 25 matchup between the Michigan Wolverines and the Florida Gators. I'm Alex Drain, joined by Jeremy Parks for Game 3 of this 5-game weekend set for the Wolverines. Michigan drew yesterday in a couple of tight games, a 4-3 win over North Carolina State, a 2-1 loss to Arizona, chance to get a big win here today.
Yeah, absolutely, Drain, and it was a close one last night. Michigan hung in there in the evening game against Arizona, a 2-1 defeat, but a game that, like we said in the recap, Michigan really looked like they belonged in that game against one of the top 10 teams in the country, and they're going to have another opportunity to go toe-to-toe with number 4 in the country, Florida, here this morning. And it's a packed house here at USF. Gainesville, just a 2-hour drive away. Michigan fans traveling very well. So it's a lot of maize and blue, a lot of Florida blue and orange here. We're just about ready to go. Megan Bobian done with her warm-up in the circle.
It's going to be Bobian in the circle for Michigan. She started the first game against NC State, had 3 dazzling innings, and then a very tough fourth. She got relieved. Alex Storako was excellent the rest of the way, and then it was the reverse in the second game. Storako started, got roughed up, and Bobian came in and cleaned things up. So Michigan is going to expect good things from Bobian because they could not expect to get much off of Kelly Barnhill. Michigan is going to need Bobian to be at her best to win this game here today. We know she's capable of it. She started this game a year ago against a Florida team very similar to this one, and she very much held her own in her second career start. With a year of experience, we'll see what the lefty can do for the Wolverines. She'll be facing the 1-2-3 to lead off this game, as Florida is the designated away team. It's going to be Hannah Adams up first, and she takes strike one. Game time temperature 69 degrees with wind northeast at 15 miles an hour. Bobian steps back on and delivers a bunt attempt by Hannah Adams. Did not go. It's a ball outside.
Adams went 1 for 3 yesterday in Florida's only game they played. It was a 15-0 demolition job on Illinois State.
And now we've got time called for some reason. Carol Hutchins is out of the dugout and onto the fields, saying something to the catcher, Hannah Carson. That's really the one change in Michigan's defensive alignment, is it's Carson behind the plate instead of Alexander. The 1-1 to Adams, swung in a foul back to the screen. Carson, the freshman from Weidman, Michigan, making her first career start. Highly touted catching prospect in state, expected to be a 3-year starter. She gets a look at a top-tier team here today. Bobian sets the 1-2 in the dirt. Adams thought about it, checked her swing, did not go, and the count evens at 2-2.
Be interesting to see with Hannah Carson behind the plate how she handles some of these pitches that get down in the dirt, some of those pitches that get up high. As we know, Katie Alexander last season, a .995 fielding percentage behind home plate.
The 2-2 swing and a liner, not quite caught, but it is a foul ball. Dropping just about 8 feet to the left of the foul line. Lexi Blair laying out. The ball appeared to almost land in her glove, and then it just dropped out. So the count will stay 2-2. We saw some really fine defensive plays in the outfield yesterday from Hoganrod in right. This time Blair in left nearly makes a very fine diving catch on a foul ball. Here's the 2-2 once again. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and Bobian gets her first victim of the day.
Climb the ladder on that one. And we want to send a welcome in to all of our listeners on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor across Southeast Michigan. A big thank you to Alex Shee, who's in studio doing the engineering end for us today. This is a preemption of your regularly scheduled music programming.
Second up is Amanda Lorenz. She fouls the first pitch back to the screen. Lorenz is the most dangerous hitter in this lineup. It's a Florida team that didn't have quite the same caliber of hitters last year as it did in previous seasons. They won off their excellent pitching, but Lorenz was the one powerhouse hitter for the Gators, hitting over 400 a year ago, and she smacks that one up in the air, and it's going to bloop into center field. A base hit. Solid contact, not hard hit, but good hitters find a way to drop those in.
Florida can be an incredibly powerful team, but they also have that ability to string a lot of small hits together, and Megan Beaubien, somebody that doesn't give up a whole lot of hits, and we'll see how she fares against these Florida bats after looking up and down a little bit yesterday between game 1 and 2.
So next up is Kendall Lindemann, transfer from Minnesota. A very surprising transfer, as Lindemann was unquestionably the best hitter in the Big Ten a year ago. And she takes strike 2 on the outside part of the plate. Beaubien's quickly ahead, 0-2. Lindemann was a murderer in the Big Ten offensively, is now the starting catcher for the Gators. Perhaps she wanted a better shot to win a national title at a powerhouse program like Florida. Beaubien ahead 0-2. Here's the pitch, a little high. Lorenz and Lindemann form really the bulk of this lineup. It's a Florida lineup that lost some hitters. DeWitt, who had 14 homers a year ago, graduated, as did Kaylee Kvistad, who had 6. So Florida looking to replace some power, and Kendall Lindemann's a good one to do it. The 1-2 also floats high.
Outfield shading themselves a little deep, perhaps a hair edging towards the centers.
So the count 2-2 on Lindemann. Here's the pitch. Just a little low and inside, and now the count has gone full. Lindemann was 0 for 4 in the 2 games yesterday, or rather, I think it was only 1 game they played against Illinois State.
Yep. 15-0 that one was.
The 3-2, swinging a ground ball to short, deep in the hole. Rodriguez not going to have a play as she gets her glove on it. So 2 pretty soft contacts and some shallow base hits for the Gators. They've got some opportunities here in the early going.
That's a fine backhanded grab to keep it from going into center field. Help hold the runners at first and second, but yeah, you're right. There was no play there with the speed coming down the line from Lindemann.
It seems like if she had slid up in and immediately gunned it, there might have been a bang-bang opportunity, but that's a tough throw to try and make. Pitch inside as the number 4 hitter, Romanello, up to the plate. Danielle Romanello, not a feature of the Florida lineup a year ago, hit only 182, started just 5 games, and she takes the second pitch, I guess a little low.
Yeah, that was well placed there by Beaubien, trying to hit that lower outside corner. Hannah Carson, and again, her first start behind the plate here. Going to work to maybe bring that pitch in, just do a little frame job on it there.
It is, let's see, I believe it's Sally Keller behind the plate here today.
Yep.
The 2-0, there's a strike. Seemed like basically the same spot.
Liz Hammerschmidt over at first and Terry Holt over at third, rounding out your umpiring crew for today. Michigan saw the first and third base umpires behind home plate yesterday.
So here's the 2-1. And they say that one just a little bit outside. Beaubien not missing by much. Trying to nibble at the edges.
Florida just letting her make those little edge misses just by a hair here. No, they're going to get something good to pitch.
Here's the 3-1, swinging a pop-up in the infield. Bump gets called off by Canfield, and she makes the catch. So Beaubien gets a big second out. And that brings up Jamie Hoover. And we hear the Hoover chants.
Definitely got that power danger coming up here.
Hoover 2 for 3 in the game against Illinois State yesterday with 2 on and 2 outs. And Beaubien calls time. Carson still getting the signals from Jennifer Brundage. This is going to be a work in progress in Carson's first ever start. Beaubien sets and delivers the first pitch. Swing and a miss. Blows it right by Hoover. By batting average, Hoover was the 3rd best hitter on Florida's team at .311 a year ago. Draws a lot of walks to get up to .465 on base, but not a ton of power. Just 7 extra base hits in the 51 games she played a year ago. Takes that second pitch for a strike, and now Michigan ahead in the count 0-2. Beaubien needs one strike to get out of a mini jam here in the top of the first.
We brought this up on the broadcast yesterday. Megan Beaubien working in the offseason, really trying to put that spin into her game, trying to bring that off speed.
The 0-2, got her, strike three. And Beaubien pitches out of a mini jam and gets a three-pitch looking strikeout. She gets 2 Ks in that inning. Overall, a pretty solid inning. I mean, the hardest hit ball was a foul.
Yep, and that was exactly what we were talking about on that last pitch right there. Takes a lot of that edge off with that changeup, brings it right in there. Change the eye level, change the speeds on those hitters, keep them guessing, and that's why Beaubien is going to add significantly to that K count as this season goes on. Again, you're listening to Michigan softball coverage on WCBN Sports and 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor, the Michigan Student Softball Radio Network. As always, encouragement to join us on social media throughout the game. If you're watching via our YouTube live stream, feel free to join the live chat there. Any questions, comments you have, we like to bring those up in the half innings, fill some time there. And then also feel free to shout out to us on Twitter at WCBN Sports. We do have a station-wide fundraiser coming up starting next week, and I know we've already auctioned off the naming rights to the first base hit of the game today to longtime listener Griffin Hickman.
For his child.
That's the 2-for-1. So once the
Yes, that's right.
Once the child's born, then the first win is named after the child because we want to set the expectation of success early. Let that kid know that the hungriest dog always gets the bone.
So now for Florida, we are going to see Kelly Barnhill in the circle. Barnhill, if you are a softball fan, is very quickly become an absolute legend of Florida college softball, one of the greats. A 1.08 ERA a year ago against some of the best competition, playing, of course, in the SEC. She's a strikeout artist, 324 of them a year ago in 214 innings, and it is really windy up here.
Yeah, it's starting to kick up. We're somewhat in a wind tunnel, as we mentioned a little bit yesterday when the wind on the field was pretty much non-existent, but that American flag out at half-staff in right field is blowing quite forcefully out there.
Yeah,
your game time temperature right now here in Tampa is right at about 65 degrees.
Trying to just get Barnhill's player page on my notebook. Let's see. She was a 2017 First Team All-American, 2018 First Team All-American, 2016 Freshman of the Year, top 3 finalist. So leading off for the Wolverines is going to be Natalie Peters, who had a really fine game yesterday, drawing some walks. Also had a single to go 1 for 3. She takes ball 1 high from Barnhill, and we are underway in the bottom of the first. Still no score between Michigan and Florida. Peters waits on Barnhill's delivery, and she slaps that one right back to the mound. Barnhill, an underhand scoop for the first out.
It's an easy 1-2 combo right there for Barnhill. Got Peters out in front of it, and she just dinked it right back to the circle. Also, we mentioned the flag at half-staff out in right field today. That is a nationwide half-staff order for former Michigan Representative John Dingell, the dean, the longest-serving man in Congress, who passed away earlier this week.
So next up is Lexi Blair. Blair takes a pitch way high. Blair, a freshman, native of Florida from Winter Garden, 1 for 4 in the game yesterday. Also drew a walk. She's speedy on the base path, so she can get on. It'll be interesting to see how Michigan chooses to attack Barnhill. Peters pretty aggressive in that first at-bat. The 1-0 coming in the dirt. Michigan was very patient through the first game and a half yesterday, and then McQuillan's pitches started to catch more and more of the zone, and they started swinging earlier in the counts in a very quick 5, 6, 7 innings, of course, though, producing the 1-run Michigan got as they were making harder contact.
Yeah, just a little bit eager where they started taking some big open cuts on the first, second pitches of the at-bat. And this first time through, just trying to time it up.
Blair takes a ball low, I believe.
That's a good pitch from Barnhill again, kind of similar to where Megan Beaubien had a couple misses, so just know that that kind of outside lower corner is going to be a little bit tighter there for Sally Keller behind home plate today.
So a 3-0 count. They expect Blair to be taking here, and she takes a strike. Count 3-1. Florida wearing the all-white home uniforms. Michigan wearing the blue pants with the white tops. The 3-1 strike.
That one right down Broadway.
A delayed call there by Sally Keller.
As the longtime fans of this team will know, the 3-0 Michigan will never swing on by royal decree. The 3-1 very rarely.
The 3-2 pitch, Blair pops it straight up in the infield. See who's going to call for it. It's going to be the third baseman, Sipos, with the catch.
And again, Barnhill falls behind in the count, but able to get Blair to go right underneath it and golf, similar to what she had earlier in this game.
So now it's going to be Faith Canfield. And she swings and hits a high pop-up in the, right about up the middle, where ranging over to make the catch is Reynoso. A very quick inning from Barnhill. Michigan very aggressive in trying to get out and hit these pitches, and they're just out in front of them right now.
Yeah, and I think that's something that you see in the lineup today, too, the changes between yesterday and today, perhaps trying to insert a little bit more power in the lineup. We saw Mackenzie Nemitz come in to pinch hit on the last out of the Arizona game last night. She's taking the position fourth in the lineup, and so you'll see her first in the second inning, but she's in there with a little bit of power, as well as Hannah Carson moving in there, Taylor Bump. Just trying to get those bats going. It's been a slow move so far. Michigan scoring 4 runs against North Carolina State yesterday, helped heavily by 5 hit by pitches off the arms of 3 different North Carolina State pitchers.
Well, it's not going to be easy this weekend because there's just a lot of raw pitching talent on display in these weekend matchups, especially these first 3 games. Michigan facing Nestor from North Carolina State, who is the top 30 recruit nationally, a very, very good pitcher who showed off her raw stuff. Was quite hard to hit through the first several innings for Michigan, and then facing McQuillan and now Barnhill. These are elite pitchers. These are not.
Well, that's what this game was last year. Was Bobian and Barnhill a duel? It wound up 2-0, but really through no major output of offense. Just a couple timely hits for Florida.
So Bobian back to work in the top of the second, and the first pitch is a strike on the outside part of the plate. Roberts is up. It'll be Roberts, Reynoso, and Voss. Count 0-1 on Roberts. And the pitch a little high. First base line is majority Michigan fans. Behind the plate and the third base line, almost unanimously Florida fans. The 1-1 in the dirt. It is definitely a majority Florida crowd. Not seeing a ton of USF shirts. The Bulls will be playing later this afternoon as the host team.
That is Michigan's second game of the afternoon.
Bobian sets the 2-1 coming, swing and a miss. Puts it right past Roberts, and she's back to evening the count at 2-2. Roberts standing in the back of the batter's box. The 2-2 pitch, I believe it got her hand, and she will take first base.
First hit batter that Michigan has given up so far this year. As we said, they collected 5 yesterday off the arms of North Carolina State.
Now we're going to get an immediate pinch runner coming into the game. It's going to be number 7, Jade Caraway. It's not the hit by pitch you want to necessarily give up in a 2-2 count. So So up comes Reynoso, shows bunt, and takes it for a strike. They'll see if they can get Caraway going on the base paths. Canfield and Uden drawn in at the corners, and that pitch a little high. Beaubien's command not yet pinpoint in this game. Reynoso had the big game-winning hit a year ago. Now she lays the bunt down. Quickly to it is bumped, throws down to Canfield, covering at first, 1 out.
It's good heads-up play there. No play to be made at second base. Make the smart turn over to first. And the second opportunity in as many innings for Florida with a runner in scoring position.
There'll be runner on second and 1 out. Alex Voss at the plate. Voss and Sipos 8-9 to finish out this top of the second. And that pitch is just a little high. Beaubien missed high quite a bit in the games yesterday when she missed. Beaubien steps onto the rubber and delivers the pitch. It runs inside, and it's going to be a wild pitch. Scampering down to third is Roberts. That's not what you want to give up.
And that's what we were talking about yesterday, or I should say earlier in this broadcast as well, about seeing Hannah Carson behind home plate, trying to learn how to be as much of a brick wall as Katie Alexander is behind there.
And Beaubien has fallen behind 2-0. And that one is a ball. 3-0.
Just missed that one on the outside edge.
It's a tight strike zone on the outside part of the plate. The 3-0. That's a strike. Beaubien goes right back to that spot.
Yep, brought it in about a 1/4 inch. And that's all you need there to get that outside edge. Like we said, Sally Keller going to be a little tight on the outside, it looks like, throughout this game.
So the count 3-1 on Alex Voss. And she swings, fouls it back to the screen. So Beaubien has fought her way back into the count. Strikeout here would be huge.
Fly ball would likely bring the runner from third home. Decent speed over at third base to take off on a tag up if she can get it deep.
The 3-2 swing and a liner. Oh boy, right over the Florida dugout. Almost took the heads off of the players in the dugout.
Yeah, it about killed Danielle Romanello right there.
Yeah.
Always heads up, the netting is behind the dugout, not in front of it. And they are all, both teams, right up on the top step of the dugout.
Voss was way late on that heater and just got enough of it to push it towards the Florida dugout. The 3-2 swing and a pop-up in the infield. Beaubien's going to make the play, and 2 outs.
Solid work there by Beaubien, just jammed right up inside there was Voss. And that'll be an easy out, and that's a big out for Michigan. Like we said, that now takes the sac fly out of play here for Florida, trying to scratch across the first run of the game.
Now, with Hannah Sipos at the plate, you just need to sit her down whichever way is easiest. Get the out and the inning ends, and she takes a strike. 0-1.
Beaubien with the full year's experience behind her, going to have some comfort there on the rubber in a couple of tight situations here early.
0-1 pitch is lined into center field, a base hit. And Florida strikes first with a 1-0 lead.
Well, it doesn't matter where in the lineup they are here for the Gators. They can hit all the way around, and Sipos there, as you mentioned, striking first for the Gators. 1-0 Florida here early on, top second.
Well, it continues to be well-placed contact. That's been the theme so far. There's a foul back to the screen by Adams because there hasn't been a ball outside of the one foul down the line that has gotten past about 10 feet outside the end of the infield dirt. There's just been a lot of little loopers that have dropped in. been able to fight them to those spots. There's a pitch high, 1-1.
Adams struck out in her first at bat, went down swinging. One of the notches Beaubien's got in the glove so far today.
1-1 pitch is a ball.
It's just a bit outside again. Trying to work that outside in.
The count 2-1 on Hannah Adams. She swings and fouls it back. The count is 2-2.
Wind still blowing steadily out, about left to right field, directionally. If Florida's able to make heavier contact than they have so far.
The 2-2 swing and a miss. Got her at the off-speed pitch, but Florida strikes first. They get a hit by pitch, and then one timely base hit to bring it around after a sack and a wild pitch, getting it over to third.
We head to the bottom of the second. Florida 1, Michigan nothing here on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor and the Michigan Student Softball Radio Network. And it might turn out, Drain, that if that run holds, this could be similar to last year's game where it was just like that inning was. A pair of timely hits off of a couple of walks for Florida, and they took a 2-0 win over Michigan in what was otherwise a pitcher's duel between Barnhill and Beaubien all the way through.
Well, Beaubien, again, has to be happy that she hasn't given up really any hard contact, but it is, you know, an issue of getting ahead of hitters and finding the means to put them away, because she's had to battle back in counts a lot more than you would like.
As Barnhill's back out to the circle for her warm-up. Michigan will have their second game of the afternoon later on today. The scheduled start time for that one against the host South Florida Bulls is 3:15, but as we saw yesterday, those start times in tournament play very subject to change, as the Arizona game started about an hour and a half late yesterday, courtesy of a wild game between North Carolina State and Illinois State. At one point, a 10-1 lead for North Carolina State, and then they almost handed the game away, wound up finishing 10-9 in a full 7 innings. Worth noting that 10-1 was in the 5th inning. Had they gotten 3 outs, the game would have been over, but a grand slam and a few other big hits from Illinois State kept that one going and going and going.
They tried to get cute, take the starters out, and almost backfired. So here we go in the bottom of the second. Florida 1-0 lead. Barnhill trying to protect it. It'll be 4-5-6. Nemitz, Uden, and Hoganrod. A very strange decision to put Mackenzie Nemitz in the 4th spot. But the lefty hitter facing Barnhill, and she takes a strike.
That'll be a question that we'll have to ask Hutch later on this week during media availability. Nemitz was a name that didn't come up at all at Media Day and has had very limited action over the course of her career.
The 0-1 pitch, swung and popped up high, arcing. Will it have room? Yes, it will. And there is the first out. Yet another pop out for the Wolverines. Still way out in front of everything that Barnhill is throwing.
And again, it's, 2 pitches, another out. This team is not waiting back, trying to time her up on their first time through the lineup. And as you said, continually getting out in front as a result.
Here's Uden. She swings and misses. And a little late on that swing. The rising pitch. Uden 2 for 6 in the games yesterday. One of Michigan's most consistent hitters. And she takes strike 2. Definitely a free swinger who wants to get aggressive, but now behind in the count 0-2. Has to be careful and protect the plate. And she slaps that one right to second, and an easy flip, 4-3 putout.
Quick at-bats, and aside from not waiting to time up Barnhill, they're just ensuring that her outing can go longer and longer as she throws fewer and fewer pitches to get through these innings.
Hoganrod at the plate.
Hoganrod, who had some fantastic defensive plays out in right field yesterday.
Went 1 for 6 at the plate, but the one was one of the more timely hits for the Wolverines all game. She takes a pitch for a strike on the inside part of the plate. Hoganrod waits and takes that on the inside part of the plate. Barnhill pounding the zone right now after falling behind hitters in the first. Those two definitely were right on that borderline inside part of the plate. And Hoganrod checks her swing. She did go on a pitch way high. And just like that, it is a 8-pitch inning for Barnhill.
Yikes. Definitely not what you want to see from the Wolverines offensively, a team that, like we said, is trying to wake that offense up. They know they're capable of hitting and maybe trying just a little bit too hard to make it happen at the moment. You're listening to Michigan softball coverage on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor and the Michigan Student Softball Radio Network. Jeremy Parks, Alex Drain. Game 3 of the USF Opening Weekend Invitational 2019. Michigan still has this game against Florida, the host USF Bulls this afternoon, and then tomorrow morning against the Illinois State Redbirds. That game earlier in the week looked like it may be threatened by some incoming rain, but it looks like the rain is going to stick mostly in the morning, early morning hours between 3 and 6 a.m. So we should be all stations go for Game 5 tomorrow morning as well.
We get set for the top of the third. 1-0 Florida. It's Beaubien's job to keep Michigan within position where a one swing can change the game. She's gotten tangled in some trouble in these early innings, but none of it hard contact. She wants a quicker inning, but not going to be easy to come by with Lorenz, Lindemann, and Romanello at the plate. First pitch high from Beaubien. Lorenz had a soft single into shallow center her first time up, did not score, and she takes that one in the dirt. Beaubien had issues with command last inning. The 2-0 coming, swinging a hard grounder to second, and Canfield not going to have a play as she botches that one. It's going to go down as an error. It definitely was hard hit, but right at her, and in the glove and out of the glove. That mistake you just cannot make right there, especially against a hitter like Lorenz. When you get the opportunity to sit her down, that one hurts.
Now it's damage control again.
Here's Lindemann, and takes a ball.
Michigan's fielding has been at times very good, at times very bad here in the first 3 games.
It's been very on and off. 1-0 to Lindemann is a ball, and so these are just not the situations you want your pitcher to be in, falling behind hitters who are some of the best in the entire country. It seems like Beaubien's trying to nibble on the edges, but the zone is just not there. The 2-0 Lindemann swings and fouls it back to the screen.
And again, falling behind in the count for Beaubien. She's done a good job so far of trying to climb back in the count. Has not given up a walk yet so far in the game. She did have the 1 hit batter.
The 2-1 Lindemann swings and lines it into right field. On comes Hoganrod. She's going to slide and can't make the play. It's going to run all the way to the wall. They're waving Lindemann to third. Lorenz will score. They're going to hold Lindemann there, and it is a triple for Kendall Lindemann.
And Haley Hoganrod had some great diving catches yesterday. One that she tracked over to that fence in foul territory down the first base side. But on that play, she's probably not going to get there. You probably want her to just stay in front of that ball. Instead, she makes the dive. It gets underneath the glove, goes all the way back to the wall, and that's probably what costs the run there.
Yeah, if she stays in front of it, it's probably just a double, or maybe even just a long single, but a do-or-die attempt, and it was a die right there. And that's the problem with giving up that error, is that there was a run on and then the run scores. So that, a Lorenz run will go down as an unearned run against Beaubien.
And still a very ripe scoring opportunity, now standing on third with no outs for Lindemann.
And that's, again, that's why you say you don't want your pitchers to be falling behind in counts, because you're forced to then put it right over the plate. And to those types of hitters, not going to end well. That pitch is a ball inside. Count 1-0 on Romanello at the plate. She swings and fouls that one off the roof. Romanello popped out to second her first time up. And the off speed is a strike. Count now 1-2.
Could use a couple of quick strikeouts here for Megan Beaubien. Lindemann on third, none out. Florida already with a 2-run lead, trying to keep this game close.
The 1-2 pitch outside, and a check swing did not go.
The appeal goes down to Terry Holt at third base, who sends the confirmation. He was the home plate ump in Michigan's first game yesterday.
Count 2-2. Swing and a pop-up foul, but it just was not seen by Hannah Carson. It was a slow arcing shallow pop-up behind the plate and dropped about 1.5 feet in front of the screen.
Probably wasn't going to get to it even if she did see it. It had enough to get back near the backstop end.
The 2-2 swing and a chop foul. Out in front of that was Romanello. This is a good at-bat.
Bump tried to make the grab there. Couldn't do so. About 6 inches out in front of her extended glove there in foul territory.
Now the count is even at 2-2 once again. Here's the pitch. Just outside.
Again, I think the difference right now is Barnhill realized she needs to go inside to get those close calls, and Beaubien is really sticking to that tight outside that Sally Keller's just not giving right now.
The count is full. The 3-2 swing and a miss, strike 3. And Beaubien battles back to get the strikeout.
Big out, need one more now.
So here's Jamie Hoover.
Hoover had 2 RBIs yesterday in the game against Illinois State.
First pitch, swing and a foul down the right field line that goes off the screen and then into the Michigan dugout. Late swing and poking it foul. Oh, and 1 on Hoover. That pitch high, 1-1. Wind continues to be a factor as the flag out in right center really blowing.
Yeah, and that Lindemann triple, it did kind of blow a ball that started like it was headed towards Hoganrod, blew it over towards the foul line, which caused her to make that dive.
That pitch high and tight. The count 2-1 on Jamie Hoover. Beaubien got the first strike, but now falling behind again. 2-1 pitch, another late swing by Hoover, and it's a rocket foul off the screen in front of the Michigan dugout. And the count evens at 2-2. Another strikeout would be big.
I'm trying to see who that was in the dugout that scared the daylights out of him as it came right for him.
2-2 pitch. High.
Tried to draw that cut as it rose up into the zone, and good discipline by Hoover there to stay off it. Big payoff pitch now coming up for Beaubien.
3-2 on Jamie Hoover. Swinging another late one into the Michigan dugout. Hoover is just staying alive. Continues to be late to recognize the pitches. Do the 3-2 again, swinging a liner, foul down the right field line. It's just, everything is a just late swing.
You can tell she's teeing him up, and she's getting closer and closer to straightening him out with every single foul that she sends down that first base side.
An absolute battle between Beaubien and Hoover. Roberts waiting on deck, runner still on third, 1 out. Swing and a miss. Beaubien went to the off speed and finally pulls the string, a big strikeout.
The floor fell right out from underneath it. I think Hoover thought she had a big hit, and it snuck right underneath that bat there. Huge strikeout again. This was, at one point, Lindemann on third with none out, and Michigan 1 out away from stranding her there with just giving up 1 run in the frame.
So here's Jamie Roberts back up to bat. I believe they were saying that she's being reinserted after being pinch run for in the second.
Yeah, they had Caraway there, but Caraway was just the pinch runner after Roberts was hit back in the second.
And a first pitch strike off speed to Roberts. Beaubien, the sort of the trend of this game so far is unfortunate and unforced errors on the first hitters of a given inning, and a hit by pitch to Roberts. There's the 0-1 check swing strike. Now the count 0-2. Roberts was in a 2-2 count, leadoff hitter of the second. Beaubien was getting ready to put her away, and then she beamed her. And it was the Roberts run that was the one that came around to score.
Roberts' back foot all the way back on the chalk, gonna sit back here on 0-2.
Beaubien 1 strike away from getting out of an inning. That pitch is high.
Again, not a bad idea there, trying to climb the ladder on the 0-2.
Count 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Beaubien, after giving up a triple, gets 3 straight swinging strikeouts to end the frame. It's an unearned run that comes across to score off an initial error by Canfield. Proves costly. Florida adds another run. We go to the bottom of the third. Our score, Florida 2, Michigan 0. You're listening to WCBN Sports' coverage of Michigan softball.
88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. The Michigan Student Softball Radio Network. 6 strikeouts now drained for Megan Beaubien through 3 innings of work.
Yeah, I mean, Beaubien's been very good. The only really nitpick has been the hit by pitch.
Yeah, I mean, just 2 little mistakes. One, the hit by pitch scored the run, and like you said, the last frame there, the error at second from Canfield. And that's really the difference here so far, although it must be stated, Florida looks a heck of a lot better at the plate, more comfortable at the plate. Michigan just gave Barnhill an 8-pitch frame in the top of the second.
Well, Florida's used to playing a lot of really good pitchers. They are a team that goes deep in the NCAA tournament every year. They play in the SEC. They know what it's like to face pitchers of Beaubien's caliber. Michigan doesn't see too many of Barnhill's caliber in the Big Ten, and they have had issues over the last several seasons facing really good pitchers.
But again, an incredible effort to save and strand Lindemann on third base after she was there with none out. And if you're Florida and Tim Walton, that'll be something that bugs you as you head back to the dugout.
Well, it'll be 7-8-9 up now for the Wolverines as we go to the bottom of the third. A pretty quick moving game.
Yeah, might keep this day on schedule if they have any say in it. That is until Michigan, of course, gets a topsy-turvy inning where they score 15.
It's Hannah Carson up first, followed by Taylor Bump and Natalia Rodriguez here in the bottom of the third. Carson takes the first pitch from Barnhill High. The freshman catcher was pinch hit in one of the 2 games yesterday. It was an out, so our line for the season reads 0 for 1. The 1-0 swinging a looper, foul down the third base side. Count evens at 1-1, a little late on that swing.
I won't mention the Hannah Carson stat that we did yesterday because it boded not well for her in her at bat. Struck out yesterday.
She had a looking strikeout.
I'll say it. After never striking out in her entire high school career, she struck out yesterday.
There's no shame striking out against Kelly Barnhill. The 1-1 is chopped foul once again, a little late on that swing. Struggling to catch up to some of these pitches, and she's fallen behind 1-2.
Yeah, Sipos was there, shading in pretty close to home plate. She's about 4 or 5 steps in from the bag at third base, trying to play for that opposite weak slap there.
Carson, a left-handed batter. The 1-2 swing and a miss.
That was 2-1.
That should have been a strikeout.
Nope, they got 2-2. I think there was one that you missed in there.
No, but she hit 2 foul balls. The 2-2 pitch swinging a high fly ball into left field, right at the fielder, and it is an out. Hoover makes the play.
Winds up not mattering, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that should have been a strikeout.
Nobody,
because she had 2 foul balls down that third base line.
Nobody raised any suspicion there. Taylor Bump, nonetheless.
Yep, Bump is up. The sophomore, the new first baseman for this team, takes a strike. There's a lot of question over who would take over the first base spot from Tara Blanco, and at least in this series, it looks like it's Bump. She started all 3 games at that position, played good defense, but has not yet been able to really find her bat. 0 for 4 in the games yesterday with a walk.
Wolverines still looking for a base runner here.
The 1-1 swing and a foul.
Now you got a 1-2 count for sure.
Bump's a powerful hitter, a lot of home runs in high school. If she can find a way to connect, it will go far. The 1-2 swing and a chopper to short. Gonna have to be a quick play by Reynoso. What a no! It pulled the first baseman off the bag. Lorenz could not keep her foot on it as Reynoso made a bare-handed grab. If she had fielded out of the glove, there would have been no play. It was a quick bare-hand grab and throw. It was a little high, and Lorenz's foot got yanked off the bag.
Well, I think there you have your official Griffin Hickman first base hit of the game.
They do mark it as a infield single. It was not an easy play for Reynoso by any stretch of the imagination. There's a ball to Natalia Rodriguez. Rodriguez had a rough day in the field, but a good day at the plate yesterday, a 2 for 4 day.
See if Michigan now can take advantage of a small mishap here as Florida did to them.
Rodriguez scored 3 runs yesterday for the Wolverines. Shows bunt, takes a pitch outside. She's worked herself into a hitter's count, 2-0. Not the most powerful hitter, a natural slapper. who likes to use her speed to get on. The corners pulled in, adjusting for Rodriguez. And the outfielders all very shallow. Bump standing on first with 1 out, and Rodriguez takes a called strike.
If you'd like to have a base hit sponsored in your name, feel free to tweet at us at WCBN Sports. Help send us on all of these broadcasting travels to bring you Michigan softball coverage.
The 2-1 to Rodriguez. She lays down the bunt, and going to be an easy play there for Sipos. And a 5-3 putout moves the runner to second.
Yeah, Sipos was very ready for it. Already down the line, grabbed it right off the bat pretty much, and beat Rodriguez by about 3-4 steps down the line there.
Which goes back to the top of the lineup. It's Natalie Peters, who has been a very good hitter for Michigan early going this season. If she can find a hole, could put Michigan on the board.
First runner in scoring position so far for the Wolverines.
And we're going to have a pinch runner. Looks like it's going to be number 2, Grace Schelleman.
Another one of these true freshmen out of a strong freshman recruiting class here for Michigan.
Peters at the plate. Schelleman now down at second. And Barnhill in the first kind of jam. And that pitch is low. A 2-0 Florida lead. There's a hole up the middle if Peters can find it. The 1-0 is a strike in the inside part of the plate.
She thought about it, and then I think she changed her mind at the last second there. Had a little hesitation with the bat and elected not to go. Looked like a decently meaty pitch to take a swing at.
Been a more patient inning for the Michigan hitters, but still trying to be aggressive. The 1-1 pitch. And that's on that inside corner. The inside's been strikes, the outside's been balls pretty much in today's game.
Inside at the belt.
And now Peters behind 1 and 2. She doesn't strike out a ton, though, as a natural slapper. The 1-2 swing and a ground foul. Lorenz was right there ready to make the play, but it was to the right side of the bag. Arizona Wildcats are out in the outfield doing their warm-ups. Count is 1 and 2. Swing and a foul back to the screen by Peters.
Just got a piece of it, and I think the force of the ball was enough to get her to drop the bat there in the batter's box.
Yeah.
Had a loose grip on it.
Reynoso came in to say something to Barnhill, and now Carol Hutchins talking to Terry Holt. And now they're adjusting to say it is a 2-2 count.
Not sure what happened there.
A lot of confusion about balls and strikes.
Terry Holt, the third base umpire, making the change.
2-2 swing and a high pop-up into shallow right field. Coming on and making the easy play is Romanello to retire the side.
So Michigan finally gets a base runner.
Can't do anything with it, though.
And we head to the top of the 4th.
They remain way out in front of some of these pitches. A lot of pop-ups.
Listening to Michigan softball coverage on WCBN Sports and 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor, Michigan Student Softball Radio Network. A preemption of your regularly scheduled music programming on the dial. If you're looking for your usual show, it'll be on our online stream, WCBN.org, and the WCBN app. As Bobian will go back to work. Maybe a little bit more confidence there, Drain? I mean, they did get something going.
Yeah, they looked better.
Made some contact. A couple of pop-up fly balls so far for these hitters, just getting underneath it, trying to sky it. But we'll see how the Wolverines keep it here, trying to stay at 2-0. 2-0 was the margin of defeat last year for Michigan when they faced Florida here in this same USF tournament, formerly the Wilson D. Marini tournament, now the USF opening weekend invitational. Also a reminder that we will be in Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, whatever you call it. The Triangle, I believe, is the official name. We'll be in North Carolina next weekend for coverage of the ACC Big Ten Challenge from Chapel Hill, 2 against North Carolina, 2 against Louisville.
So now we're in the top of the 4th, and the first pitch to Reynoso is fouled out of play. It'll be the 7-8-9, Reynoso, Voss, and Sipos. Wind is picked back up after a short period. And that's a ball. Outside corner remains an issue for Beaubien. The count is 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Wow, down and in for a strike.
Okay then. 1-2.
Reynoso sort of bending out of the way.
Yeah. Sometimes it'll fool you there.
The 1-2, high and outside.
Yeah. Perhaps a new element too here in this game, which doesn't seem to have affected much so far, is Carson working with Beaubien in the battery.
A 2-2 pitch, floats high, and now the count runs full.
She's done pretty good so far behind the plate. As Hannah Carson just had that one wild pitch that got by.
Beaubien looking for a quicker inning. The 3-2 swing and a pop-up in the infield right to Natalia Rodriguez for an easy out.
Yep, again, just kind of jammed up on the lower end of the bat towards the hands and knuckled it right over to Rodriguez, who had a couple defensive miscues in yesterday's pair of games, but by the evening looked much, much better.
And there is a running bunt from Voss, and no play for Beaubien, a infield single.
I think they caught her by surprise there.
Yeah, Beaubien did not look ready for that one. It was going to be a tough play anyway, and Uden wasn't playing as far in as you would like on that bunt. So Florida has another runner on for the 4th straight inning. Sipos at the plate now. She had the big base knock in the 2nd that put Florida in the lead. They currently are ahead 2-0. The 1-0 foul back to the screen, 1-1.
Sipos had been 0 for 3 yesterday against Illinois State in a game where that team scored 15 runs, but again, coming in clutch with her first at bat of the day. As you said, the RBI single that scratched across the first run of the game.
The 1-1 swing and a high pop-up. Is there room for Carson? No, she drops it. That was a tough one, looking right up into the sky, and she had overplayed it just a tiny bit and realized she needed to move backwards, took one step back, it landed in her glove, and then popped out.
Just got to squeeze it. Hopefully they don't make her pay for it.
Well, it goes down as a foul, so it's a 1-2 count. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss in the dirt, and no need to throw down to first with first base occupied, so the strike 3 gives Beaubien 2 outs and a chance for a quicker inning if she can sit down this last Florida hitter. 5 hits now for the Gators. 2 of them, I believe, infield singles now with the bunt, and 2 others bloop. Still not a lot of great contact. And there's a ball. The one big one is the Lindemann triple. Hannah Adams at the plate in a 1-0 count. That's a strike. Adams, 2 strikeouts of the swinging variety. One pitch, and that finally is a strike on the outside corner, and now Bovian's ahead 1-2.
Yep.
Adams at the plate, she waits, here's the pitch, swinging a foul back. Count 1-2 on Adams. Swinging a soft tapper to second, underhand flip Canfield to Uden. And that was the easiest inning so far for Megan Bobian, surrendering a bunt single, but no other damage. We go to the bottom of the 4th. The score, Florida 2, Michigan 0. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
Again, a big thanks to Alex Shee in studio engineering for us, on air till 12:30 here this afternoon. Whether that reaches the conclusion of the game or not, you can always find us on youtube.com/WCBN Sports. Turning into a bit of a warmer, leading towards noon now.
Yeah, it's supposed to heat up in the afternoon as Barnhill goes back into the circle for her warm-ups. Florida, as always, wearing the sunflower in the ponytail with the white pants, white tops, blue and orange socks, and the mostly blue visors with the orange trim.
And we're going through the second time of the lineup now, so hopefully these Michigan hitters can start to time up on Barnhill a little bit. As that'll be the last pitch of the warm-up, down to second base.
So it'll be 2, 3, 4 in this bottom of the 4th. Lexi Blair, Faith Canfield, and Mackenzie Nemitz. They gave Barnhill 1 extra warm-up and then switched balls. Now Blair checks in. She worked the count full and then popped out to third. First time up. Sipos drawn in at the corner, and showing bunt is Blair, but it's a strike on the outside part of the plate.
Blair showed a little bit of pop in that bat yesterday. I believe it was the Arizona game. She got a ball all the way back to the warning track out by the 210 sign in right center before it was tracked down.
The 0-1 high. Count 1-1.
For a small hitter, that ball got a long way.
Yep. The 1-1, and that one is hit right to first base. Amanda Lorenz backhands it and taps the bag for the first out.
Made some good contact there, did Blair. Got it off the one hop, but Lorenz playing in tight at the line. Step over tap, easy first out.
It's interesting, during the Florida defensive half of the inning, Natalie Lugo, who has been upgraded to the #2 pitcher in the Florida rotation, is watching intently as Canfield swings and hits a high foul pop-up that is going to go off the roof of the Michigan dugout. Lugo's got a laminated sheet with an expo marker that she's marking off after each pitch on the top step of the dugout, standing next to, I believe, Tim Walton, the head coach.
Yep, correct.
0-1, swinging a soft tapper to short. Gonna have to be a quick play for Reynoso, and just does do it. fine transfer from hand to the glove.
Shaping up to be another quick inning potentially here for Kelly Barnhill. As Mackenzie Nemitz will step up.
Nemitz looking to make some contact, and she swings and misses on the first. Oh, and 1. Barnhill checks the armband and delivers a pop-up from Nemitz. Is there room for Sipos? Yes, there is. Standing on the on-deck circle as she makes the catch. Another pop-up for the Wolverines ends the inning. Barnhill has now faced 13 hitters, retired 12 of them. As we go to the top of the 5th, Florida 2, Michigan 0. You're listening to WCBN Sports' coverage of Michigan softball on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
Yeah, as you said, Drain, this game moving very quickly. Just an hour after first pitch, and we're already through 4 full.
Yep.
It does feel like a very similar vibe to last year's game, where it was also extremely quick and was just 2-0, couple of runs for Florida, and then everything else was pitcher's duel. It's like either the Illinois State Redbirds or the NC State Pack have arrived out in the batting cage out in left field.
I believe that's Arizona who moved over there.
Arizona, a lot of red.
Yeah.
All 3 of those teams with red. Arizona went for the white jerseys and white pants last night with the red accent.
Well, Beaubien back out to start the top of the 5th. And there's a first pitch strike to Amanda Lorenz. It's the meat of the Florida order. Lorenz, Lindemann, and Romanello. Beaubien faced 4 hitters in the 4th inning. That was her fastest inning yet. And there's a hard ground ball, base hit. Lorenz finds the hole. That's, again, what good hitters do. Not a missile, but just finding the gap in the defense and getting aboard. She's now 2 for 3 in this game with an error, reaching on an error for that one non-hit. Now it's Kendall Lindemann at the plate. Lindemann swings and hits a liner to short. That's just it was more of a soft arcing liner right into the glove of Natalia Rodriguez for the quick first out.
Yep, that's the second soft infield liner that Rodriguez has had here in this game.
Here's Romanello. A pop out to second and a strikeout swinging so far for Romanello, who was 2 for 2 against Illinois State yesterday. And she swings and hits that one foul backwards. Oh, and 1 on Romanello. Beaubien steps back on, continuing to work quickly in the top of the 5th. And the off speed right down the middle for a strike, and she's ahead 0-2. Needing 1 strike to sit her down. The 0-2 pitch way over the head of Hannah Carson, and scampering down to second is Amanda Lorenz on a wild pitch. That's the second wild pitch for Beaubien today. First one was way inside. This one over the head of Carson, no chance. And now out comes Carol Hutchins.
That might be where the height difference between Carson and Alexander comes into effect, with Carson just unable to get out of that crouch and reach up as high as Alexander would on a ball that soars up in the zone. This doesn't appear to be a pitching change, although Hutch is out in the circle.
Not a whole lot of reason to change pitchers right now. Beaubien, still is not really giving up super hard contact in any way.
Gives way to curiosity when it's Hutch who comes out instead of Jennifer Brundage.
Interesting that all of the Michigan bench players a minute ago were out in the bullpen area swinging bats.
Again, just trying to get those bats going. That's been the big story so far here.
Long conversation with Hutch ends as Carson goes back behind the plate. Count still 1-2. Beaubien's in command here. Lorenz standing at second and one out in the top of the fifth. Beaubien sets the 1-2 a little bit high. And now the count goes to 2-2 on Romanello. The 2-2 swing and a miss in the dirt. And Carson's got to hurry. Oh boy. It was in the dirt, and Hannah Carson didn't realize she had to complete the strikeout because the base runner, Lorenz, was not standing on first. She was standing on second, and Carson seemed more concerned about preventing Lorenz from going to third than she was of actually getting the strikeout. And then finally got pointed to by Uden to throw down and just barely beating Romanello at first. As another pitch, almost a wild one from Beaubien. A great play from Carson to stab that one out of the air and save Lorenz from getting to third.
Yeah, stuck that arm up and it just threw her whole arm and glove back as it came into the leather.
Release point a little late for Beaubien as the pitches continue to rise. 1-0, another one high at the head level of Jamie Hoover, a hitter that Beaubien's been able to beat comfortably in this game. Strikeout looking in the first, strikeout swinging in the third.
Was making really hard contact in her last at-bat, but wound up striking out in the end after all those heavy hits went foul. Now Beaubien.
This has definitely been a up and down ride with her and Carson working together in this game, but gonna have to get used to it. The 2-0 to Hoover. That's a strike, finds the inside part of the plate.
And again, that's been the difference between going inside and outside for both Barnhill and Beaubien. The outside in the similar position not getting called, the inside getting called every time.
2-1 on Jamie Hoover. Just inside. The count now 3-1. The Michigan crowd riled up on the first base side.
Call it the curse of the commentator there. Maybe
Yeah.
not every time, but again, a really well-placed pitch, very close.
So Hoover in a hitter's count, 3-1. There's a strike. Hoover was one step out of the box down to first base. I mean, it feels like the last three pitches have been the same spot each time, and it's been 2 strikes and 1 ball.
Yep.
And the count runs full on Hoover.
Trying to avoid her third strikeout of the day.
Beaubien sets the 3-2 high and outside.
Held there for not just an extra beat, about 3 extra beats there by Hannah Carson trying to get that call on the corner. And after going inside 3 times, go outside, no call.
Now it's Roberts, who has a hit by pitch and a strikeout swinging. Coming up in the second and the third, now with 2 on and 2 outs in the top of the fifth. She swings and pops it up, foul. It lands on the concourse. Now several girls from the stands go charging up the stairs to run after it, but a man in a white shirt picked it up from against the railing. The 0-1 way high, another good jump up by Carson to snag it. 1-1 count, Reynoso on deck if needed. Roberts came up with a runner on third and 2 outs in the third and struck out. Beaubien wants a similar result here. And the 1-1 is a strike. She's ahead in the count, 1-2, needs 1 more strikeout to finish this off.
See if she maybe tries to go back to that off speed again, either try a change or maybe some drop action.
The 1-2 high, and Roberts laid off.
Moving away from the fastball has seemed to be kind of the put-away move for Beaubien so far in this game. Get the fastball there with some balls to give on a 1-2. We'll see what we have here.
The 2-2 swing and a miss. Strike 3. Beaubien gets the strikeout and ends the frame. That is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 strikeouts for Megan Beaubien through 5 innings, continuing to keep Michigan in the game. Still 2-0 Florida, but if the Wolverine bats can't wake up, it won't matter. They'll go back to work in the bottom of the 5th. Our score, Florida 2, Michigan 0. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
Got one for you for each day of the week, twice on Saturday, twice on Sunday. 9 of them. Again, her work has been nothing short of excellent in this game, and the 2 runs coming off of a hit by pitch that advanced around on a couple things, and then big Kendall Lindemann triple to bring around a runner who got on via a miscue by Faith Canfield. Michigan, meanwhile, just 1 runner to get into scoring position with 2 outs, unable to advance. See if maybe what you were saying, Drain, where they got into the dugouts doing some batting, some swing practice. We'll see if that comes into effect here.
It'll be Uden, Hoganrod, and Carson due up here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 3 frames left for Michigan to make a breakthrough offensively.
So get ready to go back to work in the bottom of the 5th. It will be 5, 6, 7 for the Wolverines. Uden, Hoganrod, and Carson to face Barnhill. Strike there. Barnhill's been very good at getting out ahead of hitters in the last several innings.
Had a ground out to second in her first at bat back in the 2nd.
The 0-1 outside. Count 1-1. Uden's definitely got enough power to make things interesting. Wind modest at the moment. Barnhill checks the wristband. Down and away. Uden's ahead 2-1. Michigan bench trying to get fired up. Two and 1 count on Maddie Uden. She fouls it back to the screen, 2-2.
Still no walks surrendered by Kelly Barnhill, who at times is known to give up a few walks here and there, but she's been doing quite the job of staying out in front of all of these Michigan hitters.
Well, Uden is definitely capable of drawing walks in a 2-2 count right now. And she swings and hits that one high into the air to right field, backing up. Right at the edge of the warning track is Romanello to make the grab.
Missed the cutoff throw in, but didn't matter.
That'll be 1 out. Interesting thing to note is that Barnhill, for all that she is as an excellent strikeout pitcher, hasn't gotten many strikeouts today, just 1. A strikeout swinging by Hoganrod. Do you have 2?
Yep, I've got 2 on the old stat tracker here.
Who else do you have?
Check the other one here. Got 1 on Carson as well.
There's a swing and a miss. That's right. You know what happened? That was the strikeout that wasn't.
Right.
I marked it down as the fly out to left, which was how the at-bat formally finished. 0-1 on Hoganrod. She checks her swing high, did not go. Florida fans not a fan of that call from Liz Hammerschmidt, the first base umpire. Hoganrod steps back in and a 1-1 count, 1 out. And she swings and hits it high, arcing and curling foul, landing near the trees.
Over beyond the bullpen area down the first base line.
1-2. And she swings and misses on that one, so it's the second strikeout from Hoganrod. Barnhill gives a little tap to Lindemann and then to Sipos. Now 2 outs. Up to the plate is Hannah Carson.
Michigan so far at the plate today, 1 for 14. The one hit coming via the infield single for Taylor Bump.
Hannah Carson at the plate. And that's a strike. Barnhill pounding the zone right now.
Florida, on the other hand, is 6 for 21 so far here on the game.
Oh, 1 high, 1-1.
Barnhill has been very efficient. That was just her 43rd pitch so far in the game.
It's believable. I mean, her pitches have been in the zone enough that Michigan's made a lot of contact, but none of it good contact. The 1-1 low, 2-1. Taylor Bump on deck if it gets that far. The pitch swung on and popped up in the infield. Backing up now, moving forward and making the play is Hannah Adams. Another 1-2-3 inning for Kelly Barnhill and another efficient inning. She's through 5, still has not surrendered a run as Florida leads Michigan 2-0. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. And it looks like we could have a catching change here as Katie Alexander has come out in the full gear. Now obviously Carson, just being the hitter, may well put her stuff on, but with the full gear.
Looks like she is rushing to put on her chest protector and all that, so yeah, should just be for warm-up only there.
Because yesterday when Sparks was doing the catching in between innings, she was only wearing her helmet. Alexander was all suited up for that. Carson comes back out, Beaubien back in the circle. What's the pitch reading on Beaubien?
How many? 105 going in.
Yeah. Been a lot of work for her. May well be all Staraco's game against USF this afternoon.
Another update as well for WCBN Sports. For those of you who are listening to this game, we also have coverage of Michigan basketball from Chrysler in Ann Arbor coming up on youtube.com/WCBN Sports 2. That game's going to start here in just about 10 minutes, slated for a noon tip-off against the Wisconsin Badgers. You can also catch that game after this one concludes. And for those listening on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor, we're here till 12:30.
We are cruising along in the top of the 6th. There's a strike to Reynoso just about an hour and 20 minutes in, already in the 6th inning. It'll be 7-8-9, Reynoso, Voss, and Sipos. So it's the second time that the 7-8-9 has started an inning. Reynoso shows bunt, pulls it back as it was high, 1-1. The 1-1 in the dirt. Count 2-1 on Sophia Reynoso. The Gator shortstop, 2-1 pop-up foul. Off the top of the screen, Taylor Bump gets a new ball and then pitches it over to Megan Beaubien. Wind has died down for the moment. Arizona Wildcats still taking batting practice. Reynoso taps the plate once, does 2 half swings, puts the bat over the right shoulder, peers in at Beaubien, the 2-2, got her, strike 3.
Again, the difference has been night and day going inside versus out, and she took the fastball inside, hit the edge, and up goes the arm.
That is strikeout number 10 for Megan Beaubien. Alex Voss at the plate now, popped out to the pitcher and had a soft single on a bunt. Her last time up, shows bunt again and then takes a strike on the outside part of the plate. Command very strong now from Beaubien to start this 6th inning of work. Sipos on deck. The 0-1 low. Just as we said that, wind picking back up. Both Bump and Uden playing in at the corners. That pitch floats high.
Yep, it's been, again, since the top of the 2nd, top of the 3rd, where the Gators got 1 run in each frame, it's been pretty decently smooth sailing for Megan Beaubien.
There's a 2-1 swing and a foul back to the screen, and now the count 2-2. Beaubien back in a position to rack up strikeout number 11. She sets, winds up, and delivers. Oh! A pitch that is a liner foul goes off the foot of the on-deck hitter, Hannah Sipos. Very late swing from Voss, and she scalds it right off her teammate. The 2-2, swing and a pop-up off the roof. We'll do it again. It's turned into a good at-bat. Gators have put up a nice fight, even when they get struck out.
Yeah, as that pitch count for Megan Beaubien creeping up 110 now.
The 2-2 went off speed. Way out in front of it was Voss, and just tapping it on a half swing, and it dribbles foul.
Looking over, checks the wristband, checks over with Jen Brundage sitting on her plastic bucket at the top step of the dugout.
The 2-2 swing and a liner to short. Rodriguez hurries and throws it away. Bump is not able to make the play with her outstretched glove. Would have gotten the out if she had corralled it. Will probably go down as an error.
Yeah, she had time and maybe rushed the throw a little bit, but just off bag.
It'll go down as an E6, the 2nd error of the game for the Wolverines, and another inning where Florida gets a runner on. They've had one in all 6 innings they've come to the plate. Sipos shows bunt and then drops it down. That's a good one. Bump is not going to throw it into. Oh, she is.
Yep.
Got her.
Got her by a half step. That's great effort there by Hannah Carson to get up, get that ball, get it down the line. And a great job by Bump to position herself so she had that arm outstretched. Got the ball into the glove with that back foot, reaching back to the bag. And that's a big play for the 2nd out. Otherwise, you're looking at 1st and 2nd with 1 down. Now you just have 1 runner on 2nd, 2 down.
And Hannah Adams at the plate takes a ball in the dirt.
Great savvy play there by Hannah Carson and Taylor Baum.
1-0, the count on Adams. She struck out twice and a soft ground out to 2nd. And there's a pitch a little high. Two and 0 on Adams. Swings and fouls it back to the screen. 2-1. Beaubien looking for that 3rd and final out of the inning. Beaubien checks the wristband. Adams, the lefty hitter against the lefty Beaubien. Swing and a miss. And now the count 2-2. Beaubien puts it by her, looking for strikeout number 11.
Gotta say that Beaubien's looked so good in working those different pitches around, and can't be stressed enough that this game feels a lot closer than 2-0.
The 2-2 swing and a arcing pop-up to center field. Peters right under it, and she makes the catch. So an error from Rodriguez does not hurt the Wolverines other than the Beaubien pitch count. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Our score, Florida 2, Michigan 0. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
Michigan on the afternoon is 1 for 15 at the plate. They do only have 3 strikeouts as a team. As you said, Drain, they've been making a lot of contact with pitches that are in the zone. It just hasn't been great contact. And Florida, meanwhile, is 6 for 24. They've got 10 strikeouts, all at the hand of Megan Beaubien. And that's really your difference here in a 2-0 game. Very similar stat line. Again, I keep bringing this up to last year's game where Megan Beaubien went 6 full, gave up 4 hits and 2 earned runs. Really, it all only came off of 1 hit. It was a Reynoso single.
Yep.
That brought around 2 RBIs in the 4th inning in that game.
And when you look at, Beaubien's total day of work, it's been of the 6 hits that she has surrendered, 2 were to Kendall Lindemann and 2 were to Amanda Lorenz. So your 6 hits you give up, 4 are to 2 of the best, probably top 10 or 15 hitters in the entire country. 1 is a bunt single, and the other was an infield single. I mean, it's just really not been a whole lot of issues for Megan Beaubien.
A couple of shaky situations at the start, but like we said, since the 3rd, it's been smooth sailing. Just need to get the bats moving, and the leadoff hitter has the only hit in the column for Michigan.
And there's a pitch down in the zone. It's going to be Taylor Bump leading off.
It's going to be followed up by Rodriguez and Peters, so if she can get on base, they've got some speed around the pads coming up behind her.
Bump takes another pitch high, looking to try and draw a walk and kickstart this inning.
Every time, pretty much that I can recall in this game, that Barnhill's gone down 2-0, she's thrown a nice, meaty pitch over the plate to get back to 2-1.
Delivers the 2-0, and there it is, the strike.
Turning into almost the get-me-over pitch for 3-0 counts. The way that she's done so well putting it over on 2-0.
The 2-1, and Bump swings and jams it right back to the mound. Underhand flip from Barnhill to get the first out of the inning.
I think it looks like Hutch might be asking for a pinch hit here, maybe, as she comes over towards home plate. Yep. Natalia Rodriguez will head back. We'll see who comes out of the batting area for Michigan.
Yeah, unknown right now, Natalie Peters on deck.
I think it's Abby Skvarce.
Yep, that's what it looks like.
A pinch hit for Natalia Rodriguez. Switching it up from righty to lefty. Lefty to righty move.
Skvarce in the batter's box. Swing and a miss.
This is Skvarce's first at bat of the season.
And she swings and pops it high up into the air. Moving back is Reynoso, and she makes the play. And so now it'll be top of the order, Natalie Peters. The 1 through 4 will get at least one more shot against Barnhill, starting with Peters here.
Just 50 pitches for Kelly Barnhill. she can probably be fresh enough to go in their next game against Arizona here.
Natalie Peters at the plate. And she swings and fouls it to the screen. Late on that swing and just jamming it. Foul. Barnhill steps back on, looks into the dugout. Lugo continuing to help Tim Walton send the signs. The 0-1, and that hit Natalie Peters on the elbow.
I believe that's where she got hit yesterday as well, right on the elbow guard there, and tosses that right off, and Wolverines have their second base runner now.
So to bring up Lexi Blair.
See what lefty Lexi can do here.
Peters still walking it off over at first. And now Blair talking to Carol Hutchins. Infield is taking a few steps towards the circle to talk to Barnhill. Barnhill in her senior season trying to lead Florida back to a national championship. She's been masterful today, and she delivers a strike to Lexi Blair. Just one full count all day for the Wolverines, a couple 2-2 counts. A lot of contact early in the count. The 0-1 is a strike, and now the count 0-2.
In her last at bat, Blair grounded out right to first base. Lorenz took it unassisted.
Also had a pop out to third in the first. That was the only full count of the game thus far for Michigan. The 0-2, and she pops it up, moving back, and making the play is Hannah Adams, and that'll end the inning. So another pop out, 2 of them in this inning. We go to the top of the 7th. Our score, Florida 2, Michigan 0. You're listening to WCBN Sports' coverage of Michigan softball on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
So now it's up to Megan Bobian again to finish out this game and take it to the bottom of the 7th, trying to keep this at a 2-0 deficit and give Michigan one more chance to bring up the heart of the order in the bottom.
It's been a quality line for Bobian. Only the 1 earned run, 2 runs total. And so is it, are we at 11 strikeouts now? We're
10.
still at 10, yeah.
1-0, which now gives her 17 on the season. She had 7 between her efforts yesterday. So we'll see what she's able to do here as Michigan about to conclude their warm-up, and she's got Lorenz, Lindemann, and Romanello, getting close to the heart of the Florida order here to put them down and, again, give this team a chance.
This is the big boppers for Florida, and they've been really all of the offense for the Gators. Lorenz 2 for 3, Lindemann also 2 for 3, and Hoover with a walk. Ball low to Lorenz.
Single in the first, got on base in the third through the error by Canfield at second, and then a single in the 5th.
The 1-0 swinging a soft liner. Rodriguez can't make the play off her glove. Looked like she had it, and then off either the end of the glove or her wrist, and it drops in.
Probably going to go down as another error there, so...
Looks like they marked it as a single on the scoreboard.
They did. Either way, so Lorenz then with her 3rd hit, and she's on base for the 4th time in as many tries today.
It's her 3rd hit on 3 hits that none of them really made it past just a few feet outside the outfield grass, but it's all about directional hitting as there's a strike to Lindemann. The great hitters know where to place it, and she's been able to get those little pop-ups to drop in convenient locations.
Lindemann had a single in the 1st and then a big RBI triple in the 3rd.
0-1 popped up, arcing, foul.
She wound up being trapped at 3rd base after she got on with no outs, and then Megan Bobian put together a really nice string to get out of that inning after giving up just the 1 run off her triple.
0-2 the count on Kendall Linneman. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. So that's a confident strikeout for Megan Beaubien. 11 now for the Michigan ace, and to sit down a star hitter like that, that'll do wonders for your confidence.
Beaubien's going to want the ice after this one. That was her 129th pitch of the outing. This will be 130 here.
And there's a ball in the dirt. Good trap by Hannah Carson. Beaubien's done her job. If she can finish out this inning, you can't ask for much more than just 1 earned run against one of the 5 best teams in the country. It's a ball a little low and in.
Yep, that one scraping right above the shoelaces there on Romanello, who's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts in the last 2 at-bats. Had a pop out to Canfield back in the first as well.
That's a ball outside. Now the count 3-0. The 3-0. Strike. Right down the middle. Beaubien trying to battle back against the Florida right fielder. 3-1. Liner base hit into right field. Really solid hit, and Hogenrod comes up gunning to hold the runner at second. You wonder if Carol Hutchins will continue to roll with Beaubien as the pitch count continues to climb.
I would assume so. Still just trying to get one more out. She's had good success against Hoover so far in the game, had walk, and that's who she'll face. That's the first really, really hard hit ball since the Lindemann.
That was a real solid liner into right field. Hoover checks in. Drew a walk in the 5th. Takes a ball down near the feet. Well, we talked at Media Day about Carol Hutchins trying to limit Beaubien's workload. This is definitely not exactly limiting the workload. And Hoover hits one sharply foul down the right field line.
Just foul as it squirted by the bag there. Had that gone fair ball, it probably brings around both the base runners.
Count 1-1 on Jamie Hoover. And the pitch inside. 2-1 on the left fielder. Florida's outfield hasn't done a whole lot in this game. Haven't been asked to. 2-1 strike on the inside part of the plate.
Again, that pitch has been such a money pitch for Megan Beaubien throughout the game. And again, she hits that in edge right up on Hoover there.
The 2-2 on its way down in the dirt. And we go full 3-2. Runners on first and second. This could load the bases. The 3-2 grounded foul.
Again, one of those really hard hit Hoover balls that just goes foul on the first base side.
3-2 is the count. Hoover checks back in, taps the plate twice. Cocks the bat over the right shoulder. The 3-2, swinging another ground foul. These late swings getting closer to timing him up. This is how an earlier at-bat of hers went down.
Struck out at bat, struck out swinging in the third, and then had the walk in the fifth.
3-2. Pitch swinging a hard liner to center field. Peters on the run, cannot make the play. Dives in, it gets faster. 2 runs will score. And the throw to the plate, not in time. Throw down to third. Safe there. Very strange turn of events.
Well, she finally teed it up.
That was a bad cutoff decision. That throw should not have gone to home because Hoover was stopped at second. And then once she saw the throw go to the catcher, Carson started scampering down to third. Carson's throw not in time. I have it down as a double advancing third on the throw.
Yep, that is it.
A big hit for Jamie Hoover finally comes through, and it's a 4-0 Florida lead. Ground ball right to third, and Uden's not going to go home with it. She goes to first instead and dropped by Taylor Bump. Another error for the Michigan defense, and it's the wheels starting to come off in the 7th.
Well, not quite sure why Uden decided to even think about going home with that one. It was the easy play to go over to first, and I think after she had taken the beat to look over to home, she thought she needed to rush the throw over to first, and it was down low and away from the glove of Bump and just got away from her.
Now Carol Hutchins out to talk with Megan Beaubien. An inning that started pretty promisingly with a strikeout of Kendall Lindemann and only 1 on and 1 out. Now things have gone haywire as a solid single by Romanello, a really hard hit double by Hoover, and now an error committed by Uden on the Roberts play. That's going to be 3 errors now for the Michigan defense. Florida up to 9 hits. Michigan been badgered now in this top of the 7th. So up steps Reynoso, still only 1 out. Michigan wants Beaubien to finish this off. There's a ball.
Up to 143, that's the 144th pitch of the game for Megan Beaubien. Probably safe to assume at this point that you'll likely see Storako for USF this afternoon.
There's another ball. Yeah, this is probably the last we'll see of Beaubien today.
Turned into some tough sledding here.
The 2-0 down in the dirt, 3-0.
Like you said, very clear that Hutch wants to ride Beaubien to the finish for this one.
3-0 is a strike. One is a strike, 3-2. Beaubien's battled back in this at-bat. Beaubien sets the 3-2, swinging a foul back to the screen. Count 3-2. And they say it was low.
Yep, that was a close pitch there by Beaubien, but just a hair low below the zone. And now runners at first and second with 1 out.
And Carol Hutchins is going to leave Beaubien in there. It kind of is the end of the rope as the pitch is piling up.
shows a lot of confidence in Beaubien that despite all this, they still believe that she's in a good spot mentally to get in there and finish this game. Going to be a pinch runner for Florida. Coming in at second, it'll be Amanda Bean, who will come in and pinch run. There's also going to be a pinch hitter, I believe, here for Cypos, and that'll be Jordan Matthews, who had that huge home run for Florida in the College World Series last year on their last strike of the game to keep them alive.
Pinch hitter is for Alex Voss. Matthews takes the ball low. One-0 is a strike. Unless there's a double play here, every Florida hitter will have seen the plate 4 times in 7 innings. The 1-1 swing and a liner. Trapped by Peters, which will make it just a single.
Did a really good job to trap it.
Yeah, that was...
There have been several of those where they get by, and Florida's been moving around the paths on those misses.
Laying out, and Carol Hutchins stepped about 5 paces out of the dugout, now has returned to the top step, and she is leaving Beaubien in there to face Cypos. Bases loaded, 1 out. Cypos way out in front of that one, swinging.
And if the Wolverines can keep it here in the infield, hopefully the easiest play in that situation will just be to go to home with it.
And there's a fly ball to center. Peters on the run, backing up, makes the catch. The runner will tag and score, and now it is a 6-0 Florida advantage. A sacrifice fly there. Run scoring, and bringing back to the top of the order, Hannah Adams. It means every hitter has come to the plate in this inning. Adams fouls it back.
That one back towards the concourse area, it sounds like.
Yeah, some folks reacting. Count 1-1 on Adams. Beaubien set. Pitch high. Check swing by Adams did not go. Count 2-1.
There are 2 outs here. The scoreboard did just finally update, okay.
Yep.
They had it as 1 out up there until the moment I said it.
2 outs, runners on the corners. Pitch high and away, count 3-1. On Hannah Adams. Foul back to the screen. So the count runs full now on Adams. Beaubien steps back on, gets ready to deliver. The 3-2 swing and a foul back. A rising shot that Adams went up for and got a piece of. Keeps the count full at 3-2. How many pitches are we at now?
155, make that 156.
A lot of deliveries today for Megan Beaubien. She sets the windup, the 3-2, swinging a chopper right down the first baseline and into the glove of Taylor Bump for the end of the inning. Go down as a line out to first, And we go to the bottom of the 7th. Florida tacks on 4 in that top of the 7th and leads 6-0 going to the bottom of the 7th. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports.
And for those listening on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor, we've got just about 8 minutes left here before we hit 12:30, where we will go off the air in Southeast Michigan. We'll hand that back over to your regularly scheduled programming. If that occurs in the middle of the inning, we'll do a quick sign-off, but we want to say a big thanks in advance to those of you tuning in through the actual airwaves down in Southeast Michigan, and then also to Alex Shee in studio for us at the Student Activities Building this morning. We appreciate the audio engineering coming from him getting up early on Saturday morning. In less than ideal conditions, 15 degrees in Ann Arbor this morning.
Yeah.
Not great.
A lot nicer here. Game time temperature was 69. It's probably a few degrees warmer at this point.
Yeah, we've got a break coming up between this game as well, and then Michigan will play after the betweener game between Florida and Arizona. They will face off against USF. Currently scheduled for 3:15. We'll keep you updated on the start time, whether or not we stick to schedule depending on the length of the next game.
And if you are looking for something to do in between the two games, you can hop over to CBN Sports 2 and listen to our coverage of Michigan basketball game in the early stages right now.
Yep, also available through YouTube. They've got a full crew over there at Chrysler this morning. Evan Osterly, Nate Sorensen, Lucas Vargas, Maddie Muschin over there. One more, I can't remember who else they've got on the crew this morning. But again, keep up with your Wolverines between games, get a little basketball action in. And the Wolverines have a 6-run deficit to make up here in the bottom of the 7th drain.
Yeah, last call. It is the better hitters, Canfield, Nemitz, and Uden. Kelly Barnhill out to finish off a complete game shutout, having surrendered just one base runner, actually two, one hit, and then a hit by pitch to Natalie Peters. Canfield, Nemitz, and Uden. And on the first pitch, Canfield pops it up shallow center. Coming on and making the play is Voss. So first pitch, one out. We have a pinch hitter for Nemitz. Cannot tell the number yet. Looks like it is going to be 24, which is the freshman Morgan Overitis. Overitis will stand in the left-handed batter's box as Carol Hutchins has finished giving the announcement to Sally Keller. Strike on the outside part of the plate. Barnhill's command has been pinpoint all day long. She's been able to hit the zone with considerable consistency, especially early in counts to get ahead of hitters. But that one is high. Count now 1-1.
2 outs to go here, trying to put a little something together. At least maybe scratch 1 or 2 across the board. Get that goose egg down, but it's only 1 hit on the game for Michigan.
1-1, that's a liner. Base hit down the left field line. Rounding first and heading to second as Overitis, she throws on the brakes. And then will have herself a solid single. That's by far the hardest hit ball of the entire game for Michigan. Overitis on with a single, and Michigan trying to scratch across some runs, if for nothing else but confidence, heading into their afternoon tilt with USF. Now Uden at the plate, takes a strike. Oh, and 1. Uden swings and misses, another count 0-2. The 0-2, swing and a miss in the dirt. And that'll be a strike 3. Not a ton of strikeouts.
And it'll be a pinch hit for Haley Hoganrod. It looks like Thais Gonzalez will pinch hit for the final out here.
Well, Gonzalez will get her shot, the designated player in the NC State game yesterday. Swing and a miss.
Barnhill still only at 62 pitches in the whole game.
Very, very impressive stuff. Takes a strike. Now, Florida 1 strike away from finishing it off.
1 pitch away from averaging less than 10 pitches an inning. And Florida contingent all clap.
0-2, swing and a miss, and that'll do it. Kelly Barnhill, masterful in a 2-hit complete game shutout for a comfortable 6-0 Florida victory. 6 runs on 10 hits for the Gators, no runs on 2 hits for the Wolverines.
7 full 2 hits, just 65 pitches for Kelly Barnhill. And we end right about on time for 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor to change over the signal. Again, a big thank you to Alex Shee in the studio. We'll give a couple closing comments here in just a moment, but for those of you tuning in on 88.3 WCBN FM, feel free to tune in with us this afternoon for USF at about 3:15 on youtube.com/WCBN Sports. For those of you tuning in on the FM stream, we'll leave you with a good afternoon and a go blue. And yeah, Drain, it was just, again, unable to hit. Michigan as a team in the game, 2 for 22 at the plate. And one of those really probably shouldn't have even been a hit. It was an infield single off of a throw that pulled the first baseman Lorenz off the bat.
Well, it, is a tough game for Michigan, but they were facing probably the best pitcher in all of college softball, so they have an opportunity to prove themselves this afternoon, but they're going to have to be better than they were here today.
And again, we will be back at just about 3:15. We've got an in-between game with Florida and Arizona, and then after that, you've got Michigan and USF to wrap up the day for the Wolverines here in Tampa. Michigan falls to 1-2. Florida goes to 2-0 on the season. Michigan will look to get back in action against the host Bulls, and Drain will have that call for you soon.
Yeah, we will be back this afternoon.
And until then, again, a big thank you to all of you who tuned in with us on WCBN Sports with YouTube.com. And we will have that game. Keep an eye out on Twitter at WCBN Sports for the update. And until then, we'll leave you with a good afternoon and a go blue.